Chapter 11, containing a great deal of shouting. Jemmy was struck dumb. Did Prince Brat have sand for brains? Gaw! Didn't he realize he could snatch up his crown and go free? It doesn't please me to take orders from common rascals, Prince Brat said coldly. It would please me to shake the teeth out of your confounded face, replied Hold-Your-Nose Billy. You may live in the castle, but you're only a whipping boy. Do as we say. I'll do what I choose, and I choose not to run your errands. Jemmy leapt up and gave the prince an angry flash of ice. Jemmy from the street, get these stubborn fits, he said, contrary as a mule. Let me have a word with him. I'll whip the mulishness out of him, explained Cutwater, lurching forward. Prince Brat dodged out of his grasp, and a sour smile crossed his face. I'll tear up your vile message the moment I'm gone, and keep the crown for myself. Hold-Your-Nose Billy caught Cutwater's upraised arm. Hold on. There's something in what he says. You think he's angling for a share of the reward, Billy? Likely is. The gritty little snipe, Cutwater bleated. How much do you reckon we can spare? This calls for private words. Let's parley. Follow me. The moment the outlaws ducked out of the hut, Jemmy turned on his companion. Prince Blockhead, you should wear your crown to fend off woodpeckers. Impostor, how dare you insult me? You're enough to give the devil himself fits. Haven't I muddled their brains? They want to turn you loose. And you reward me with a royal squawk? The prince had crossed to the wicker basket and snatched up an uneaten apple tart. He gobbled it down. I'll return to the castle when I'm ready, when I choose, and not a moment before. Jemmy's eyes narrowed sharply. He couldn't fathom what was stirring in the prince's mind. Could he for once be concerned for someone other than himself? It's not me you think you're protecting, is it? You? Knowing they'll knock the daylights out of me soon as they find out I tricked them? The prince shrugged. You're a quick boy. You'll think of something. I've already thought it. Once you're up and gone, I'll slip away, out in the forest. I'll be harder to catch than a flea. But I'm not leaving, said the prince firmly. Gaw! But why? Is it your paw you're afraid of? Is that why you won't go back? The prince scoffed. He won't miss me. Course he will. Let him wait. And mind your own affairs, whipping boy. It is my affair. Do you reckon you're out on a lark with murderers outside? The murderers shuffled back into the hut. Hold-Your-Nose Billy fixed Prince Brat with a hairy smile. Never let it be sung about that me and Cutwater ain't generous to a fault, lad. We'll share out with you a bucket full of gold and jewels. No, replied the prince flatly, as if he'd been offered a bucket full of coal. Don't run me out of patience, warned the huge outlaw. The prince remained defiant. I'm staying. Hold-Your-Nose Billy ripped off his leather belt. I'll lash a bit of sense into your head. Jemmy saw that Prince Brat wasn't going to shift his ground. You don't need my whipping boy to get into the castle. There's a better way. Do say, exclaimed Cutwater doubtfully. My horse, remarked Jemmy. There's your messenger, sirs. Hold-Your-Nose Billy gave a snort. Ah! That fine beast? We've been afoot since our skin-poor horse turned heeled up. He needed a mount in our line. We need a mount in our line of work. Nitwits, explained Jemmy, as if his own princely patience were at an end. With rings on your fingers and gold in your pockets, You can take to the road like gentlemen. You'll be traveling about in fine coaches, but first you've got to lay hands on the treasures. Cutwater made a sound through his nose like a pitch pipe. With that horse outside? One of the king's own. A horse can always find his way home, can't it? That fine beast will make for the castle stables, note and crown, no questions asked. Chapter 12, wherein Jemmy is betrayed. With a gleeful chuckle, Hold-Your-Nose Billy dropped the ransom note and the golden crown into a dirty linen sack. When he knotted the sack to the saddle, he turned to Cutwater. Soon as I'm within a squint of the castle, I'll turn the beast loose. Guard our prisoners. I'll tie them up, Cutwater wheezed, giving his heavy partner a foot up into the royal saddle. From the doorway, Jemmy watched Hold-Your-Nose Billy vanish into the tangled maze of tree limbs and brambles. Then he glanced about at the bare furnishings, the hanging ropes of garlic bulbs, the bed straw, the chest of stolen goods. He'd need some trickery to escape. The prince fixed him with a smirk. You're clever, all right, but a common dunce all the same. Gah! A cartload of gold and jewels? The ruffians would have been content with a mere jingle of coins. Jeremy's eyes swung back to the bedstraw. There was his escape. A cartload of moonshine, he said. It'll never be forked over. I'm the prince. Pa will have to pay it. Jemmy began burrowing like a barn mouse under the moldy straw. Not a bit, he won't. Papa will foam at the mouth. Jemmy was disappearing limb by limb under the straw. Think again. It'll be clear as water the note's a scrabbly-witted fake. Papa will keep me under lock and key after this. It won't fool a soul, that note. How could you have written it? Everyone in the castle knows you can't so much as sign your own name. I never needed to before. It's me that's in the soup. I'll catch it for your mischief in running away, and I'll catch it again when the tutor claps eyes on the handwriting. He'll say, Jemmy, this is Jemmy trying to line his own pockets. Your pa will scrag me with his bare hands, so I'll be obliged if you'd help me nip out of here. I promise you my protection, announced the prince with sudden generosity. Jemmy protects himself, said the whipping boy. When that plague eye Cutwater comes to tie us up, tell him I slipped out of the door. Soon as he bounces off after me, I'll make a break for it. You'll leave me alone with cutthroats? Before Jemmy could answer, he heard the sharp squeak of the door. He held his breath. Lads, you won't mind if I trussed you up like a Christmas goose. There came a sudden pause, and Jemmy's heart began to thump. Where's the prince? Cutwater snapped. Jemmy heard Prince Brat answer without the slightest hesitation. Him? Over there, under the straw.